While Texas continues to freeze under sub-zero temperatures and snowstorms that have knocked out power for millions as their fully privatized energy market fails to meet the demand of everyday Texans, it appears their senator, for a short time, was missing in action. How strange. What happened? For a while, people were wondering, where in the world is Ted Cruz? Where did he go? Now, of course, the world would actually relish his disappearance, especially if he never returned. But sadly, he's an elected official and his state is currently in crisis. So a lot of people wondered, where is Ted Cruz? What happened? Well, it appears that the Canadian-born Cruz had traveled to Mexico, specifically Cancun, for a long-deserved vacation. Now, that's, of course, not the story that he's trying to spin. Oh, no. See, that gets better. It gets funnier. But first, there were photos of Ted Cruz, at an airport and even on a plane that was headed to the Mexican beach town of Cancun. I want to show you a couple of those. That Ted Cruz, all right, he's at the airport. And then I think that's a related picture. It's still Ted Cruz wearing something different. And then there's Ted Cruz on the plane. Look at that. It's Ted Cruz's on a plane. Snakes on a plane. I don't know. That's an insult to snakes, I feel like. All right. So there he is, traveling on vacation, getting ready to go down to Cancun and having a good old time. Look at that. After all, it must be really hard work defending an attempted fascist coup of the country, as well as denying people stimulus money, healthcare, higher wages, what have you. Being a ghoulish person apparently wears on you, makes you rather tired, and you just want to take a break. You want to go and, relax by the spa, all that stuff. So now, it's kind of a nightmare for him, though, the timing that this happened, because it just so happened that he took vacation to someplace warm while the residents of his state are freezing. I mean, not a good look. And so for a while, his office went complete radio silence. Multiple media requests had been sent to Ted Cruz's office, and each had been ignored for a time by his staff. According to CNN reporter Manu Raju, Cruz's office, this happened earlier today, has not responded to photos on social media showing him traveling to Cancun. They haven't denied or confirmed anything yet. Again, this was earlier today. Not responding since last night comes as residents in Texas are left without running water or power amid the winter storm. By the way, there are also boiling, water boil notifications going on, in Texas. So now they're telling residents, you need to boil your water. Okay, but there's a problem with people not having water. And two, even if they had the water, what are they going to boil it with? Rage? I mean, come on. What? So that's really, really, really terrible. And again, super, super terrible optics. Now, the Houston Chronicle also failed to get a response from Cruz's office, and Cruz's office did not respond to multiple requests for comment on the pictures. Business Insider also wrote that they were unable to immediately verify the images and could not immediately reach Cruz or one of his representatives for comment. So now later on, of course, Ted Cruz is like, yeah, that was me. I was in Cancun, yes, but his excuse is great. Because he's going to go and he's going to throw his daughters under the bus. Oh, okay. So now, here's what he said in part of his statement. After a lot of criticism, like millions of Texans, our family lost heat and power too. With school canceled for the work, our girls asked to take a trip with friends to Cancun. Wanting to be a good dad, I flew down with them last night and am flying back this afternoon. So now currently he is back into the United States. But let me give you a little timeline here. So this is after this came out probably about an hour ago. But earlier in the day, you actually had, while they were still trying to figure out if it was Ted Cruz or not, or just like a very unlucky doppelganger, or maybe lucky because they were going to Cancun. But then again, unlucky because they look like Ted Cruz. Sad. Well, before all that was verified, you had one GOP source that was apparently pretty mad at this, and they outed Cruz to a Fox News reporter, Paul Steinhauser, who said, quote, "The photos speak for themselves." Indeed they do. Apparently, as I said, taking a vacay in the middle of this crisis is way more important than helping your state. Yeah, because of course. Now, after this, then he was like, okay, statement to come. Senator Cruz was always flying back to Texas today. He merely accompanied his family for the night. That was part of his release, and that's why he had a bunch of suitcases, right? Oh, it must not have been his, though, right? Right? Of course. Sure. Totally believable. Then again, you know, for the people who do believe that the Green New Deal is responsible for Texas' power problems right now, they would believe that, oh, no, totally. And not only that, but Ted Cruz is a man of the people. I mean, of course, you know, everybody takes their kids down to Cancun when they're having a power problem. Yeah, everybody would do it. I mean, you know, sure, of course, everybody would do it if they had the means to do so. But most people can't. Most people don't. Not good. So I want to do some Twitter, right? Some responses, because these are fun. Jordan Wool, always with the good tweets, says, Ted Cruz fled to Mexico because the Green New Deal is really scary. He's basically a refugee. Adam Serwer says, Ted Cruz went to Cancun on vacation while people in Texas are suffocating to death in their cars, trying to stay warm because his entire job, as he conceives of it, as shit posting, which he can do from anywhere. Hey, as a verified shit poster, I can attest to that. Of course, I could do it anywhere too. Another person says, can we not let Ted Cruz back in? Now, look, he's already back. But like, say if he wasn't. As much as I like the idea of not letting him back in, I don't believe in littering. Mexico isn't anybody's dumping ground. I just don't feel right leaving America's trash in Texas, in Mexico. Okay, I just don't believe that we should just be littering all over the world. I mean, just having Ted Cruz visit that area would taint it for weeks. It takes a long time to get that evil stench out. Erickson, here's what he said. And he's not the only one. There's also another from Dinesh D'Souza, which is real fun. But first, let's get to Erickson here. The fact that people think Ted Cruz, a United States senator, can do anything about a state power grid, even his own, is rather demonstrative of the ignorance of so many people who cover politics. They'd rather performative drama than substance. So you know what? I'm feeling kind of called out here, Erickson. All right, so let's talk about that. I mean, yeah, what could one, Texas politician possibly do for the country? For their state during this time of crisis? I mean, you woke libtards. I mean, all right. So for one, you could be like Beto O'Rourke. What's he doing? He was fighting Ted Cruz for the seat. Here's what he did. While Ted Cruz was traveling to Cancun, Beto O'Rourke was making over 150,000 calls to senior citizens in Texas. In fact, one of his volunteers had talked to a man who was stranded at home in Killeen, hadn't eaten for 2 days. They ended up getting him a ride to a warming center and a hot meal, and has then asked for volunteers so that he could reach more people. So what he's doing is called constituent services, hooking people up to assistance, trying to help them, getting them food, shelter, warmth. I mean, you could do that, or you could, go to a vacation in Cancun. It's your choice, really. Or you could also do what Sema Hernandez is doing. She's also spreading awareness to fundraisers and setting up and helping to spread the message of mutual aid networks in the state to help get vital supplies where they're needed. But then again, I mean Cancun, right? Why not? Cancun. No, both Sema and Beto, by the way, they tried to take on Ted Cruz. Sema and Beto ran against each other in a primary. Beto, again, I've had my issues with Beto O'Rourke, but you can't say that the guy doesn't actually want to help his constituents. And so they tried to take on Ted Cruz for that Senate seat. Either of them right now would be doing far more with the power that Ted Cruz has to help their constituents, whereas Ted Cruz obviously doesn't. One more thing. Just a ridiculous tweet by, what is it? Dinesh D'Souza. Let me see if I can find that really quick, because it's just, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Dinesh D'Souza, let's see, basically says that, well, he's not using, Ted Cruz isn't using up valuable resources and in Cancun. So, he's leaving it for the rest of the Texans that are still there. You should be thanking Ted Cruz because he's doing the right thing. Quote, what could Ted Cruz do here if he were here in Texas? I'm hard pressed to say. If he's in Cancun, that means he's not using up valuable resources of energy, food, and water that can now be used by someone else. This is probably the best thing he could do for the state right now. Wow. That's probably the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but I don't expect much from Dinesh D'Souza. And even when I don't expect that much, I still feel kind of let down. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.